Them Democrats lose now. Them Democrats lose now. We got new bullet points, and let's get right into it. Okay, so let's recap this nasty timeline. All of a sudden, when Clinton is in trouble, Seth Rich disappears. Judge Scalise falls asleep at the wrong time, you know, the eternal sleep of death. And WikiLeaks is just pouring it on with the Pizzagate, and Podesta and Clinton, they like their hot dogs and pizza, which is code for little girls and little boys. And, you know, Clinton's not going to go anywhere because, you know, they got everybody in Hollywood's a hidden pedophile. It's an open secret. And it's kind of an open secret that Epstein's got everybody bought off because he's got pictures of everybody with one of those underage girls that he set him up with. And so everybody's scared of Epstein, and it sort of proves to all of them in the deep state that there's no way for them to get caught. Except an outsider, Trump, threatens all of that. And so this is why they start losing their minds. So first things first, they decide that they're going to accuse Trump of screwing with the election, right? That he got assistance from a foreign government in trying to, you know, drum up opposition research, and he's coordinating with the Russian bots and all this kind of stuff to give himself some kind of a unfair advantage. Anyway, it's a weak argument, but they try to make Trump look like he was willing to get help from the Russians. They got the FBI to spy on him. He was elected, and then they continued having the FBI spy on him. They didn't give him a break the whole time he was in office. They've been trying to set him up to impeach him for something. Even when the Mueller report, after 2 years, the Mueller report turned up. Can you say turned up empty? 2 years later, can you say turned up empty? The Mueller report turned up empty. But they still have a need. The need to block him from outing them is still there. So one fiction against him doesn't work. They need another. Can you imagine if you was the Democrats and you was in bed with the devil, and somebody had pictures of you and the devil, and you was teabagging the devil? Can you imagine? And if you don't keep throwing dirt against the person who's going to out you, if you don't keep throwing dirt against the person that's about to out you, you know what's going to happen. Them pictures of you teabagging with the devil is going to be put all over the internet. So you got to countersue this guy. You've got to counter-accuse. Well, it only works when the peanut gallery is on your side. When the peanut gallery is on your side. You know, when the peanut gallery is on your side, you can say, I saw Trump skydiving into the middle of Germany for a secret meeting. Yes, I saw him. I saw him skydiving. See that little black dot is just a pixel on the screen? Well, that's Trump. I testify that's him, and he's skydiving down into the middle of Germany to have a secret meeting with the resurrected Nazis. I saw Trump. I saw him. He was coming out of a cat brothel. That's right. He's got a thing for cats. Golden Showers ain't got nothing on him now because he was caught with it. I saw him. He was making eyes at his own wife. Now, who believes that? Everybody knows that men of power have their wife just as a trophy. But to actually love your wife, who's he trying to fool? Finally, we saw that he was trying to get everybody to look at Joe Biden as if Joe Biden was a crook. And we just couldn't have it no more. We couldn't have it anymore. This guy who loves cat, and this guy who loves skydiving into Germany, and who pretends that he loves his wife. Oh my goodness, we just couldn't have it. So that was the last straw. And so we decided to impeach him as a Christmas present at the end of 2019. Now, during the impeachment, the Democrats didn't even allow Republicans to call any witnesses. The most conspicuous thing about the impeachment is the lengths to which the Democrats went to treat the obvious story with Hunter Biden and Burisma as if it was a non-issue. I'm seriously, they were Baghdad Bobbing that issue. Remember when Baghdad Bob was up there going, we have the infidels on the run, we have them on the run, we have routed them, they are isolated at the airport, and we are about to put the final blow on them. You know, and just pure Iraqi state propaganda, trying to make it look like the Americans got their butt kicked.
Crushed the forces in Saddam International Airport, and we cleaned the whole place of the airport.
They're seriously Baghdad bobbing the whole idea that nobody thinks that Hunter Biden is something to look at. So what happened? After they bullshit impeachment, they held the articles of impeachment for what? For 3 weeks? Why? Why? Because they needed to come up with a reason to pressure the Senate. So back in 2016, they actually are on the edge of being found guilty of investigating the Trump campaign. How are you going to cry foul so loud and so hard about President Trump trying to have Hunter Biden investigated? This is old Bible story. And the prophet couldn't figure out how to sentence King David. So King David had Uriah sent to the front line so he could get killed. Now, King David had multiple hotties that he was already messing with, but he had to have this girl Bathsheba. So what the prophet did was he switched it up a little bit. He said, King, suppose, there was a man, he had a lot of sheep, but, his friend had this only one single prize sheep, and he had his friend killed so he could go and take that sheep. Well, what had happened was King David said, the man who took the single sheep is a bad guy, he's too greedy, and he should be punished to the tune of 4 sheep being taken from him. Well, as it goes, 4 women close to David, it was said, would be David would lose them. Okay, bad things were going to happen to these women because that was the sentencing. Basically, the prophet got David to, sentence himself. So, what's going to happen to the Democrats? Okay, well, they're pressing impeachment for the crime that they committed. Actually, they're accusing Trump of the crime that they spent basically 3 years getting away with until basically the Mueller report came out and the IG report came out, which showed that they 17 times set up the FISA court like sucker and had the Trump campaign spied on. So they're actually guilty of the crime. And so since they think that impeachment is necessary, I guess the entire Democrat Party is about to be impeached. So the Democrats made this plan. It started with withholding the articles of impeachment. And people were like, why are they doing that? Oh, it's because they got a weak case and all of this. No. The Democrats know they had a weak case. I believe that they held the articles for 3 weeks because they wanted to make sure that the president did not get the countersuit, the possibility of countersuit happening in those proceedings. That means that they didn't want Hunter Biden called, they didn't want the whistleblower called, they did not want Adam Schiff called. So what they did was they made it seem like, first of all, the Senate was going to be unfair. They played a game as if they were going to hold on to the articles of impeachment until the Senate proved to the House that the Senate was going to be fair. Then the next thing that they did was act like they wanted witnesses. They acted like they had something real serious up their sleeve, and it made the Republicans back down from wanting witnesses. How could one side want witnesses and not allow the other side witnesses? So both sides would get witnesses if they were going to have witnesses. They decided to scare the Republicans off of the entire witness thing by pulling this John Bolton crap. The John Bolton is ace up the sleeve and has got something that's going to put a lot of mud and dirt on the president, and so everybody goes, no mas, let's just vote to acquit. Now, in the event that they just vote to acquit, the Democrats have the extra little nasty bonus of saying they really didn't want a real trial. It's a cover-up. So they schemed to make the Republicans damned if they do, damned if they don't. And it took them 3 weeks to do it, to come up with the scheme. And that's why they held on to the articles of impeachment for 3 weeks, to figure out how they were going to squeeze the Republicans, damned if they do, damned if they don't, call witnesses. But that was a tremendous bluff, and the Democrats ran away with a lot. Now, some say that Hunter Biden and Schiff and the whistleblower are going to be called at subsequent hearings over these matters, because it's really illegal what they did, what Schiff and the whistleblower did, and that the matter can be brought up later. But we all know that the media will act like there's no grounds for this, and stupid rhino Republicans who are not strong, won't want to have their name dragged through anything negative, and that hearing's never going to happen. And the third point is, what is it that they really got against Trump? That they still got against Trump? It's similar to the moment when the Jews could vote for Jesus or Barabbas. Because the Pharisees didn't like Jesus exposing the weakness of their position, they really couldn't serve the people of Israel as well as Jesus was. Jesus was forgiving people left, right, and center, and they didn't have to do it in an expensive way. John the Baptist was doing that. They already killed John the Baptist. And so because they want to get rid of this truth teller that, really had a good connection with the people, they were willing to vote to free Barabbas, who was a murderer. So it just makes me wonder, can you say the Pharisees love the people if they're letting or coaxing people to let Barabbas out on the street again just to get rid of Jesus? So am I saying that Trump is like Jesus? Well, in the sense that he's dedicated to a certain truth, the truth of the proper functioning of America, the proper functioning of free markets. And since he's appointed these inspectors and these prosecutors to look into corruption, and Obama Biden didn't do that, so in a sense he is more interested in truth, and he is a truth-seeking figure. So they got to get rid of him, and that same nature that wants to get rid of goodness and truth so bad that they let murderers out on the street is alive in the Democrat Party. To say that the Democrats are acting like Pharisees, that's really light. It's more like they're just filled with like some sort of a demonic lust from the pit of hell, and they want to pour some kind of a terraforming spiritual sludge all over America and turn it into the habitat that they were used to back down in hell. That's really what's going on. I mean, really. Anyway, talk to you later.